Welcome to Blended Healing. You know, when you love somebody so much, and you know how opposites attract, they do. But you love them so much, but sometimes the bad outweighs the good. It's almost like you fight in order to make up. And you find that when you sit back and you sit in that thing and you reflect on it, you realize that you're really not compatible. One outgrew the other, or maybe something that brought you all together has now lost its luster. It doesn't mean that you don't love them any less. It just means that you just outgrew out of that type of love and now have put them in a different column. Or maybe perhaps, let's keep it a buck. Maybe you just don't even like their ass at all. But shit happens. We evolve as humans, and that's what we're here to do. And especially in spirituality, we do evolve. We ascend. We transcend the world as we go through our own ebbs and flows. And you hear me say that a lot because I always think about water and the waves coming in and going out and coming in and coming out. And if you look at the waterfall that is behind me, it's a reminder of how relationship and life can be. There is smoothness, but then there's rocky roads. It does not mean that you don't love them. You just may love them in a different way. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips in the balance of the favor of fair use. Furthermore, I give credit to the original copyright owner. I don't own the rights, or no infringement is intended to the material that has been added to this original content.
it. You know me, I'm going to keep it 1,000% with you. As I sit back and I reflect on the different relationships that I have, and when you're younger, everything just hits like so super crazy, right? But as you get older and you think about how these different relationships were panning out in your life, you really realize sometimes you need a V8 slap in your head because the divine does step in. Because when something is not the way it's supposed to be, and you can't understand it, know that the divine will interfere, especially if they've been giving you signs and signs and signs all the time, you know? And what we know as we gain more experience in this world is that love is a complex thing. And sometimes when we go through things, it feels bewildering to us. It's like going through a freaking maze. And I gave you the synopsis before. Just look down like you're looking down at a game board, right? That you're looking down at a game board. And then you're looking at the maze. You can see the beginning of the maze and you can see the ending of the maze, right? So see, feel, and imagine that the divine is looking down at that. You're at point A, the exit is point B. So as you go through the different phase in the maze, you realize that you're going to hit walls or frogs, I call them. You hit frogs. And you think they're all starry eyed, and then you realize that that ain't it. So now you're back in the maze. You're continuing on your path, but you gained more experience. You know what to look for. Then you run into another wall, another frog, and then you realize that that ain't it either. So just continuing upon your path and your journey, you're going to hit walls, and then you're going to have to put your joint in reverse and go another direction. So in the meantime, the divine is fireproofing you, telling you which way to go, and you don't even realize that you're being fireproofing, molded, shaped like clay, and giving you what you're asking for. Oh Lord, please just give me a man. Oh Lord, I need a woman. I just need a good woman. And then as time goes by, you add or subtract from the list of things that you're looking for, you know, because we feel we have the answer. But see, the divine knows what's going to happen to us in the future. So the divine will put people in places for you. And trust and believe the divine does want you to have a mate. The divine does want you to navigate this world in a path, a helpmate, somebody that you might be romantically interested in, or somebody who's just truly a companion. But in order to get you there, the divine will put you through tests until the divine says, okay, he or she is ready. And then what you don't realize is at the end of the maze where you're trying to get to, somebody else already started at that point and going through the same thing that you're going through. So eventually, there is a space within the maze that is an open space where the two of y'all will run into each other. And by that time, you both will be ready for each other. That's just a little story I like to tell people. But I want you to be very clear that sometimes you can love somebody, but you may not be compatible. So we're talking about those walls today. Sometimes we are left wondering if what we're experiencing is real, or is it just an ideal of an illusion of what we believe the truth to be. Sometimes you might look at your relationship and see that there is so much love and affection, yet you feel something's missing. Let's talk about those walls. You might even question if what you have with this partner of yours is healthy. Is it sustainable? Will it weather the storm? Or is it just a bunch of beautiful chaos waiting to explode? How do you know if you're in love with each other, but just aren't meant to be? Divine Father God, Mother God, all that is in you is in me. I ask you to allow me to rescind as you come in. Give them the words of wisdom that they need to know about behind the curtain. Give them the message that they need. Ashe. May it be for the betterment of them and not for the detriment. Give them the power to understand and to know and the knowledge to walk in the path that you want them to walk because you know best. Ashe. The divine wants you to know that you've been thinking. You've been thinking a lot. And I don't know if you and this other person have separated now, but you're missing them and they miss you. They are thinking about you a lot. They want to be by your side so much, so much. But is that what's best for you at this time? Because toxic relationships, there's always love, but it's the clashing that I worry about. It's the abuse that I worry about. It's the mouth that I worry about in your heart. So when you sit back and you reflect upon them thinking of you and vice versa, I want you to know that you can navigate this confusing journey of your heart. And it might be time for you to confront some very hard truths about yourself and whether or not you are combative. If you are constantly disagreeing about different basic foundational values, you know, the values that are core in any type of relationship: respect, mutual respect, honoring, loving, compassion, empathy. Those pivotal foundational principles. So, where there may be a strong sense of love, but if you fight a lot on fundamental values, compatibility may not be there at all. In every relationship, there's bound to be disagreements. Don't get it twisted. So there will be different times where you may argue or quarrel over different things, simple shit, but not really the crux of what the issue is. And when you have those arguments, is it diving deep into your values and your core and your beliefs and your integrity? Is it challenging whether or not you practice whatever religion, if it goes against your politics or if it goes against family matters? That's when it becomes a little cray cray. That's why you got to sit back in that thing. Ashe, ashe. As we talk about the differences in your core values between the two of you and it being a signal for incompatibility. It's interesting that you know what else is a red flag? Is if you have too much in common. Why is that? It shows up that it can lie in the lack of diversity and complementary qualities, meaning that as far as being well rounded and having a thriving partnership, the both of you share too many similarities, and it may lead to a lack of balance, growth, and ability to navigate various aspects of life together. We should embrace differences and appreciate the unique quality each person brings to the relationship that can contribute to a more dynamic and resilient connection. Now, I can speak to that. I have a person that we were very compatible to the point that we were so much alike that all we had to do was look at each other and we understood what it was. But as time wore on, then the conflict came. And then instead of speaking the same language, we end up disagreeing and couldn't understand each other's language anymore. And you know what comes with that? Pride. Pride. A bunch of arrogance, a bunch of ego, and a bunch of stubbornness will now seep in, you know? And that's what it was. Straight up, point blank, period. When you have these things, thank you, Devon. When you have these things that operate within your, you know, relationship, sometimes it can be ego driven. It can be. And one will outgrow the other, but it depends upon how you outgrow each other. Is it ego driven? Is it? Is it stubbornness? Or one doesn't want to give in to the other? And is it about your pride? Sometimes you can love someone, but sometimes you just ain't meant to be together. What I also want to bring your attention to today is that your happiness hinges on the fact that they're present in your life. Do you need another person to make you happy in your life? Or can't you just be happy within? And it's natural to feel happy when you're with somebody that you love. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. And I know that them being around you brightens your day. And the laughter that y'all share, you know, one of y'all start with the tickle and the next one starts with it too. It's infectious, you know. And just like you think that can bring you together and it brings you a smile to your face. But what happens when they're not around? Are you comfortable in your own skin? Are you? Can you find your happiness? Or does it always diminish in their presence, or worse? Does it turn into anxiety or sadness when they're not around you? This could be a sign that there's an unhealthy attachment rather than compatibility. When you're in a compatible relationship, your partner will enhance your happiness, but they're not the only source of it. You feel me? So if you find joy in your own personal growth, whether it's hobbies that you have, whether it's the friends that you connect with, or anything outside of this relationship, then things are gooch. You feel me? But divine says that sometimes you can end up in a heart fog. What's a heart fog, Belinda? Divine says that there is mixed signals going on in this relationship. There is blocked emotions, and it feels as though something is just not right. That things are messed up when this other person is not around. I need you to be able to see the light in the dark and to come out of the fog. You know, when you see a light when you're in the fog and you can't even judge the distance. You know, when you're driving in a car and it's foggy outside. Do you know people have a tendency to speed more and you don't even realize that you're speeding until you look at your speedometer? More accidents happen in a fog. And that's what you're in, a heart fog. It's clouding the perspective of what's really going on with you. My divine ones, you don't need another person to validate who you are. Even though you may be with somebody and they will say, yo, good job. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the best, man. That's why I got you in my life because nobody's better than you. But when you have to have that constantly, then what does that say about you or about them? It's all about self worth. When you are in a relationship and you love somebody so much that you end up losing yourself, do you realize that you are losing your own identity? And it's going through external factors such as what do you do and how do you appear to other people? I really need you to tell me. You're diminishing your own self. And having that validation with somebody that you're with is intoxicating because they're only going to tell you the good things because they know if they tell you something wrong, it's going to be the wrath of God. And when that what ends up happening, you want to hear that shit all the time. However, in the relationship that you're in, it can be excessive need for reinsurances and affirmations. That shows a lack of compatibility. Why do you say that? Because you have to constantly give them approval or vice versa. And that can put a strain on a relationship because everybody don't feel that every day. You feel me? Why the hell do I have to puff you up every damn day? When we were together, you were secure in who you are. How did you lose yourself? How? How? This constant craving for validation stems from your self esteem issues or the insecurity that you or your person has that leads to codependency, which is unhealthy if it's taken to the extremes. Divine source, what message do you have for them in regards to this? It's a feeling of feeling trapped. Ashe, thank you. It's the feeling of feeling trapped, that you are duct taped in. Not only does the ring bind you that you gave, but now you feel as though you're stuck. Because what is this other person going to do when you're not there? They're going to fall the fuck apart. and you feel tied down and you feel as though you're a captive, that you handcuffed into a situation that no longer serves you. You love them to death, but you know it's time for you to move on. You are being stunted in your growth. And with you constantly being there to be their crutch, know that you are stunting their growth. Sometimes we get into a situation where there may be arguments that happen. Shit happens. We do it all the time. And one or the other gives a silent treatment, right? But if you both do it, what the fuck? What the fuck? And I know that we all have these moments in our situationships, but it's frustrating or it can be hurtful when that silence comes in because it's the only way that they or you can express your feelings by shutting up, shutting down. But when silence becomes a frequent guest in your conversations, it's a sign that something's not quite right. I love you, but we may not be suited for each other because you may find yourself resorting to the silent treatment more often, using it as a tool for punishment or a shield from confrontation. And it can be a reflection of your own compatibility. People who are truly compatible don't kill each other with silence. They communicate. And that's what keeps the foundation of your relationship flowing, even if it's a real rough and tough conversation. Everybody needs time to breathe in order to say what they have to say. But that silent treatment, yeah, it's not a good one. Divine, is there any message? Yeah, the divine weighed in and said, that's nothing but sorrow, baby. It's nothing but sorrow. It's like having and suffering a loss of something special. It's like having grief that you're trying to deal with. It is depression. It's depression. It's like going to your own funeral because you're dying on the inside. Ashe. Do you know that being together feels effortless? Too effortless. How is that a bad thing? We often hear that the best relationships feel effortless, but there's a certain flow and ease when you're with the right person. But when you have a relationship that feels too easy, this might not necessarily be a good thing. Why? Because challenges and conflicts, when you go through them and you resolve them together, can contribute to personal and relationship. When you don't have that, in some cases, it feels as though you're lacking the necessary elements for individuals to learn, to adapt, and develop important communication and problem solving skills. There ain't no way that you with somebody and everything is not as it seems. It's a straight line. Everything is smooth. There's no way. Human personality is not like that. Sometimes, if you see that, there's a lack of emotion in that connection. The absence of challenges may mask underlying issues or differences that were not addressed, that can surface later on and potentially jeopardize the stability of your relationship. Therefore, you should have a healthy balance between ease and occasional challenges, which is essential for a relationship to thrive and evolve positively over time. The divine says you're living in a fantasy if this is going on. Thank you, divine. You're daydreaming of what the relationship is instead of looking at it for what it really is. You are imagining what the relationship is instead of looking at it for what it really is. And you fantasize of this perfect life with this person, but it's a fantasy. It's not realistic. It's not likely. We ain't all Stepford wives. We all have different personalities. And we deal with men who have different personalities. Therefore, everything is unique. We have similar things that happen, but nothing that is a mirror image. Everything goes through different ups and downs. It's life, and life is life. Know that sometimes you'll look at future plans and then you make more compromising efforts instead of really speaking on what you want. I love you, but sometimes we just should not be together. And if you envision a future with that one you love, it can be an exciting part of your relationship. But if your individual dreams and aspirations seem to be constantly clashing, there's a compatibility issue every damn time. When you want to talk about your future, you start to feel more like it's a negotiation or a compromise where one of us has to let go of our dreams. It becomes evident that we are not quite on the same page. Our individual strivings and goals should blend seamlessly with the shared vision that we have for the relationship and not clash with it. You know, in a relationship that only truly clicks, where dreams meld into one and your plans for the future naturally complement each other. It's in this that you have shared ambitions, that you can find the beautiful harmony that makes a connection stronger. Devon, Devon, what do you say? Divine says hopeless. It's hopeless. It's sinking into despair and falling apart. There's no freaking way in the world that if you try to discuss your future plans on where you're heading together, that it has to be a damn fight. I love you, but you may not be my person. And just as the old cliche is when you're in love, you feel butterflies. There's more to love, that love is more than butterflies. And when it comes to love and compatibility, it's important to notice the little signs that may show your connection isn't quite right. So compatibility isn't just about love. It's about blending your personal goals and your shared dreams. You have to keep an eye out for things and talk openly and be ready to compromise. And building a relationship on a foundation of real compatibility is the secret to happy and a lasting connection. I want you to know that it may come down to evaluating and looking at your overall happiness in your relationship. If efforts to enhance your compatibility do not bring positive results, and the differences that you find are way big, like a huge gap, you may have to decide whether the relationship aligns with your goals and your well-being. Beloved, the divine says that there's possibilities for you, different possibilities. If you have done everything in your power to make this relationship work and it's still not working, then it's time to move on because you're being blocked for being a free spirit. There's no adventure, and you have ran out of time and you have exhausted all the risk. It's time. They always say that opportunities and possibilities work hand in hand because as one door closes, another one opens. I want you to stay encouraged that if you have done everything in your power, then you can walk away with a clear mind and a clear conscience. Ashe. And the overall message from the divine is karma. If you hold on to somebody when you know that you should let them go, there will be consequences. There will be a cause and an effect. And then there'll always be some type of debt that needs to be paid. I want to thank you for stopping by Blended Healing. I hope I was able to help a little. I love you, but sometimes we just not meant to be together anymore. And I value you, that I would like to see you happy because you deserve that. We just not meant to be together at this moment. Ashe, Ashe. Be well, stay safe, and I will see you very, very, very soon.
As much as I wanna move on and find another way, when I close my eyes, all I can see is your face. Walking down the coldest road, not knowing destiny. Where am I to go? I've been so damn alone. I wanna run away to a faraway place where no one knows my name. But what if I run into another you? Would the pain still be the same? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the saddest of them all? Hold up, wait a minute. Is there hope I see?